Hey, beautiful people. So some of the words I would use to describe this last week are recovery, surrender, and healing, alongside some really profound and beautiful epiphanies. No matter what life brings my way, I try to meet it as the student, it being the teacher, meeting it with a pause, with awareness and with grace. Even when I feel resistance or reaction. Now, that hasn't happened overnight, that's been cultivated over a lifetime. And some of that cultivation has been ignited and stirred up within me from some of the elders around me, especially when I think of my nan and my granddad, who, bless them, are both this side of life now. But I can remember hearing them say, you know, when a problem arises, go and make a strong cup of tea. And we might laugh at that, and then they would say, then sleep on it, because more than likely tomorrow morning you're going to wake up with the answers. Now, how profound is that? It's really simple, but yet really profound, because we live in a time where there is not a pause, where it's hard to create that awareness and it's hard to meet things with grace, because our attention is being pulled in 1,000 different directions all at once. Not only our attention is being pulled in 1,000 different directions at once, our presence is. Okay, attention and presence, you might feel, are the same things. There's a feeling in there that they are slightly different. I feel them to be different. But our attention, our presence, our time is being pulled in 1,001 different directions. And that, to me, is by engineered design. It's a fucking huge dupe is what that is. So we've got to reclaim that. You know, I was listening to one of my wonderful clients who's an English teacher, and she was saying to me, do you know what, children are now struggling to read a passage because their attention span has become that fragmented and that diluted. That's huge. Okay, and you're telling me that's accidental. I know adults that say that. I don't read books anymore. I just listen to the audio. It's easier. That absolutely is true. I love listening to audiobooks. You can listen to them on the move. Those of you driving, listen to an audiobook and a podcast. Yet there is a huge amount of fuckery going on with that. So over this last week, I got floored, and I mean floored, by some kind of fuckery disguised as a virus. And over the last few weeks, over the last month, 6 weeks, the whole family had. Yet somehow with grace, I had the strength to sit with my online clients, and together we illuminated their journeys, which was huge. But I am recovering, and that's something we don't allow in this modern age either. we don't allow recovery. We have lost the wisdom around surrender. And is there room for true healing? That word's bounded around so much. But do we allow room for true healing? And some people might say to me, but did you really rest? And I did, believe me. I had no other choice, right? So it's pushed on us. We're forced to rest sometimes. But the balance for me was resting alongside rather than laying in, although sometimes I think that can be deep medicine, laying in this darkness, as I also cultivated things that really inspire me, and it's a little bit of all those things. So it's something that, yeah, over the last 6 weeks grabbed hold of us. And I've been saying for a while that this and this is moving through the collective. It's like I've known people lose their voice, and I understand that because I was in that place too. And it's like, then when that comes back online, there's a change, a truer voice, all food for thought. But over this last week, there was an incredible moment. I felt myself lean in on a call, and I heard Spirit speak through me to my client with such conviction. And the words that followed were, "You have just raised the bar. You have invoked, ignited, and activated your gold standard." What does that mean? Now, she knew what it means. What it is this: what is and isn't acceptable in your life. You've just raised that bar. You've invoked, ignited, and activated your gold standard. What is and isn't acceptable in your life has just shifted into something sacred and non-negotiable. And as those words moved through me, I felt something deep within me also shift, rearrange, and alchemize. And I think that the timing of that was huge. For her, massive. For me, equally as large. Now, if that had happened at a time where I was feeling 100%, it wouldn't have had the same hold. It wouldn't have stirred up and activated the same experience. Yet when I was working, I felt completely in the flow. But I know as those words took hold and as they settled in me in the hours that followed, feeling in this limbo between unwell and recovery, 2 steps forward, 2 back, 3 steps forwards, 2.5 back over that week. It rised and flowed, and it still is in that return. I knew that those words had so much more meaning because of the space I was in. I was cracked open. And as that integrates, watch this space. And I am beyond grateful for all of it. The growth, the light, the darkness, the medicine of this last week has been raw, real, humbling and mighty. And what a wild ride. And I finished the week sitting in gorgeous sunshine with Tristan, precious father and son moments beside the most beautiful lake, and we laughed and we chatted about life. And as each day goes by, I'm gently recovering, and as each day passes, a little more returns. There we are. All food for thought. All food for thought. I hope you can take something from this. It's a very raw and real sharing. And as always, keep shining. And what is your gold standard? What is non-negotiable, and what is and isn't acceptable within your life? As always, heaps of love, keep shining. Until next time.